It's not easy being funny, especially when you're by yourself on a stage with just a microphone and a stool. Stand-up comedy is considered by many to be the highest form of live entertainment, but it wasn't always that way. In this video, we'll journey through time to learn how stand-up comedy evolved from its humble beginnings in vaudeville to the viral videos of today. Come with me now on this rip-roaring, side-splitting, knee-slapping adventure through the history of stand-up comedy. The earliest forms of stand-up comedy can be traced back to the 1800s, to traveling entertainers who would perform songs and jokes in between magic tricks and daring feats of physical comedy. These traveling troupes were known as minstrel shows, and they would go from town to town performing for audiences in saloons, on street corners, and even in the basements of churches. The shows were incredibly popular, but they weren't exactly highbrow entertainment. The comedians were often lampooning African Americans with blackface. But as the 19th century wore on, stand-up comedy began to take on a life of its own. Vaudeville acts became more sophisticated, and comedians started working on perfecting their timing, delivery, and joke writing. By the turn of the century, stand-up was a staple of American entertainment, with comedians like Joe Miller and George Carl. But it wasn't until the 1920s that stand-up really started to find its voice. That's when comedy clubs started popping up across the country, giving comedians a place to hone their craft and develop new material. The biggest stars of the era, like the legendary bandleader and comedian Cab Calloway, were headlining these clubs and selling out shows week after week. Radio was also becoming an increasingly popular medium, and comedians were quick to capitalize on it. With programs like the Jack Benny Program and the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show, comedians were now able to reach a national audience. And the best of them, like Benny and Burns, were able to parlay their radio success into big screen stardom. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. In the early days, comedians had to fight tooth and nail to be taken seriously as performers. They were often relegated to opening acts and had to endure hecklers and hostile crowds. But the brave souls who took to the stage, time and time again, slowly but surely chipped away at the public's perception of comedy as a mere sideshow attraction. And then came Lenny Bruce and Richard Pryor. These guys took a different approach to comedy, tackling controversial topics and pushing the boundaries of what was considered acceptable. But their bold, unapologetic style didn't sit well with everyone, and they faced arrest, censorship, and even violence as a result. Despite the backlash, though, Bruce and Pryor paved the way for generations of comedians to come. They showed that comedy could be more than just jokes and funny stories. It could be a powerful tool for social commentary and change. By the 1970s, stand-up comedy was a fixture on television, with shows like The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson providing a regular platform for comedians to showcase their talent. But it was during this decade that stand-up began to branch out into different styles and formats. Improv comedy, which relies on audience participation and unscripted dialogue, started to gain popularity, as did one-man shows in which comedians would riff on personal experiences and observations. Comic storytelling, which blends humor with personal anecdotes and observational comedy, also started to emerge during this time. This new wave of stand-up was both a reaction against and a continuation of the social commentary of the previous decade. While earlier comedians like Lenny Bruce had used humor as a weapon to challenge the status quo, newer comedians like George Carlin were using it as a scalpel to dissect the complexities of modern life. But it wasn't just on stage or on TV that comedians were making their mark. By the 1980s, stand-up comedy had become a major industry. Comedy tours were grossing millions of dollars, and comedians like Eddie Murphy and Robin Williams were among the highest-paid entertainers in the world. The advent of cable television also gave rise to a new generation of comedians who were unafraid to push the envelope. Channels like Comedy Central provided a home for edgy, cutting-edge material that would have been too controversial for network television. And it was during this decade that the stand-up special became a staple of the industry. With hour-long specials on HBO and Showtime, comedians like Dennis Leary and Chris Rock were able to reach a wider audience with their unique brand of socially conscious humor. As we head into the 21st century, stand-up comedy has never been more popular. The internet and social media have given comedians a new platform to showcase their talent and reach new audiences. With streaming services like Netflix and Amazon Prime Video investing heavily in stand-up content, comedians are now able to build a loyal following without ever having to step foot in a comedy club. But despite the incredible opportunities that stand-up offers today's comedians, it's important to remember the long and difficult road that led us here. From the days of traveling minstrel shows to the viral videos of today, stand-up has come a long way. But it's the courage, creativity, and sheer determination of the countless comedians who have graced the stage over the years that has made it the beloved art form that it is today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and like the video. Also hit the bell icon so you never miss any of our awesome videos.